And we've got some excitement, part of episode number 4 for the Kins and Klomp podcast. Not only do we have a sponsor for the 4th straight week in a row, Martin Piel from Pat's Canine and Protection Services. I should probably get the guy's sponsor title right, especially when he's sitting in the Tune Hub studios. Martin Piel from Pat's Canine Protection and Detection Services is joining us for this segment here on today's podcast. Martin, welcome.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Good. And you know what's funny here, Mark? This is our first week doing a video podcast.
And we forgot to tell Martin that it was a video.
Right.
And I didn't even get to the addresses.
But his hair looks very good.
Looks very good.
He's off to a great start.
What are they? A dashing young man joining us. And we wanted to thank you for, joining us for the past 4 weeks now. You're a repeat sponsor times 2 here for the 4th straight week. Moving on week number 5. For the Kins and Klomp podcast.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And it's been a pleasure.
Martin's got a real interesting backstory. And I know you had tons of questions you're ready to burst out before he even got here.
Backstory. Hey,
What a story.
Well, obviously, you work with canines here
That's
in the city. Can you take us, from where it all began to where you are now with, the protecting of the city with dogs?
Is the podcast that long?
We've got a good editing crew here at Tune Hub.
Back in the day, once upon a time. Okay, during my my military time, I actually joined as a musician, which was an exciting experience. Traveled all over the world playing music. And then from there, I got kind of a naughty boy, and I was sent to a infantry company as a disciplinarian punishment, which I enjoyed. So I ended up moving to an infantry regiment. And then from there, I ended up working with canines. And from there, it just became a passion.
And you've been doing it ever since?
I've been doing it since 1982.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're the top dog, no pun intended. Maybe I intended this. You are the top dog when it comes to training canines in all of North America. How did you become so good at what you do?
Bluffed? No.
a lot of BSing?
That's our style,
That's
Kinsman.
right.
A bluffer.
No, I wouldn't say I'm top dog. I would never say that anybody who trains dogs knows everything about dogs. Every dog's different. You learn a different way of training a different dog. They're just like human beings, right? Everybody's got a different way of doing things, and you've got to pull that comb the right way to make him work correctly. But how did I get there? Just through experience, connections I had, people I met up with in the U.S., worked closely with the United States Air Force together, the Federal Aviation Authority, and things just progressed from there. It just became a life. Working canines isn't a job; it's a way of life.
I'm very curious the story that brings you to Timmins, because it's hard for me to see, as a little boy living across the oceans, or ocean at least. I think there's a couple in there that you think as a little boy, one day I'm going to be living in a small community called Timmins, Ontario. So what landed you here, and what keeps you here?
What landed me a plane.
Yes, okay.
What keeps you here? You've got a young lady here keeping you here?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. No, I was on the internet, met Christina online, came over for a visit, and ended up staying. That was 19 years ago.
Oh, wow, there it is. Interesting.
Must be her baking. She we were supposed to give a thumbs up. Christina,
that's right.
Dropped us off some cookies and some Christmas baking. So thank you,
she
Christina.
Did make us all fat.
When you're out with the dogs in public, do people often want to pet the dogs?
All the time.
Right. And you can't, right?
You can't do that.
No, and every time I walk in an office or do any searches, they say, "Oh, isn't he beautiful?" And I say, "Well, thank you so much." And they always say, "No, I mean the dog."
Right. the dogs, right?
But people get... it's almost like, the service dogs, which your dogs are.
That's right.
You don't touch them while they're in the middle of,
no.
working. Maybe
Isn't
playtime?
They socialize with the family and everything else, but the reason behind it is not because how can I put it? I don't want the dogs getting attached to being touched by strangers, so every time he's doing a search, he's going to get distracted because he sees somebody because he thinks he's going to get a stroke. So the dog's there to do a job. When the job is finished, then he gets his reward and his cuddles and his pets and his hugs.
And I was asking you, Mark, and now I can ask the man himself. On our previous podcast, you know, the dogs go through extensive training, but do they get trained on the basic tricks? You know, shake a paw, roll over.
I don't teach him any tricks.
None of those silly things.
No, they're busy enough as it is, and they're so high energy that they don't have the patience for it.
Now, it takes a certain type of dog to be a canine. Obviously, the German Shepherd, or is it a certain style?
I used
or
to
breed?
be all my life a German Shepherd guy. I used to breed German Shepherds back in Germany. I was a breeding inspector. I used to go around different kennels, making sure the litters were correctly documented, etc., etc. And now I bought my second Malinois, and I'm totally fixated on the breed Malinois, Belgian Malinois. They're so intense, intelligent, fast. They're full of character. Now I see a German Shepherd being like a slower version. So I'm really fixated on the Belgian Malinois now.
How many dogs do you have?
I have 4 presently.
4 dogs.
Yeah, a third he's already been purchased from my new handler. That will be here in the next week or so. So we'll be up to 5.
It's funny that dogs are really, that I can think of, are the only, like, that's the only species that does this. Like, cats don't do this work, right?
No, you can't have.
You can't start J6 Mark's K9 security to compete with Martin. It's only dogs, right?
I've never experienced it. Pigs do.
Okay.
The German
Pigs
police
are pretty intelligent too.
German police actually use pigs for search because they search for truffles in the wild.
Okay.
So they use that ability that pigs have to transfer that to narcotics. The program went well, but it fell apart. So I'm not sure where they are nowadays, but I don't think they're carrying on with the idea.
Now, you do random searches on some of the mines here in the city and surrounding area. Now, they don't know when you're showing up with the canine. Is it a good day or a bad day when you see some of these, the miners, when they know that you're on the premises for a search, a random search?
Some are glad I'm there. Some are not glad I'm there. But otherwise, it goes well.
Do you get called in, or do you just show up, or do they call you because they suspect there's something in the premises?
I get booked prior, so the only people that know that I'm arriving is myself and the department that brought me in. So me being there out of the blue doesn't happen. It's always...
There's always a reason, and normally your dogs probably find that reason when you're on site?
Sometimes, yeah.
We were joking. I don't know if we were joking or not, but we were taking credits for Martin's hard work last week. We know that he's going to be very involved with the city with a new contract, and we said, listen, Martin is the podcast sponsor.
Yeah, fourth straight week.
And that I think that 4th week or that 3rd week really was the last straw that got him the contract. But right? So we were trying to toot our own horn, but congratulations, and tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing with the city.
We'll be enforcing the animal bylaws, so making sure everybody's licensed, walking the dogs on leash in leashed areas. We'll be giving out warnings at the beginning, those who are not following those bylaws, such as somebody walking around with the dog off the leash. And then we'll be just enforcing the animal control rules and dealing with strays. So we'll be picking the strays up, bringing them to the Humane Society, where they'll stay for 5 days and then eventually go to adoption, should they be adoptable.
Now, a lot of people online, when this tenure was granted to you, split between the Humane Society and now you guys taking over, or you and your canine team and crew, for the dog bylaws here in the city. A lot of people thinking, well, you're taking away from the Humane Society. You're actually helping the Humane Society out. Can you clear that up here?
We're still working with the Humane Society, so the strays, any injured animals, they still go to the Humane Society. We're only there to implement the bylaw. Nothing more, nothing less. So if an animal gets injured in the evenings or during the day, we're there to collect that animal, to give it first aid, and then transport it, if it's not on its deathbed, to the Humane Society. where then they'll receive veterinary service. Apart from that, we're not taking nothing away from them at all.
So there's one misconception that we do have to clear up.
What's that?
It's Martin's favorite breakfast sandwich.
The butty.
It's the
right,
bacon butty.
A bacon. See, I claim to know all, and I was trying the both.
I only got sausage because you were too tight-fisted to have bacon. So
hey,
that was
you
all
got to
that was
choose
there, right?
one meat at a time per customer when I'm running the roost. But it's a butty. Now, how do we spell butt? B-U-T-T-I?
Is it B-U-T-T-I or Y?
Yeah, I guess we could have went on the Google that, but we didn't.
We didn't.
We waited for Martin.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I
we
can
did.
give you a story.
Yes.
What's that?
One day, years ago, we was at Swiss Chalet and we went for breakfast on Sunday morning. And I run out of butter, or butter in Canadian, right? So I went to the counter and I asked the young lady, I said, excuse me, could I have some more butter? And she said, beg your pardon? I said, I would like some more butter. She says, I don't understand what you're asking for. Would you like a tea? I said, no, I want some butter. And this went back and forth for a few minutes. Eventually, she asked her colleague to help. She came over. She asked me what I would like. I said I would like some butter. Once again, she said, would you like a coffee? I said, no, some butter.
Some butter.
So then I said, I'll say it in Canadian, butter with a double D.
Right,
and then
right,
they
right.
understood
Butter.
what I wanted, right? So I do have problems at times. People don't understand the words I use.
Still.
So,
Yeah.
still.
The act.
It's
Well,
the accent.
it's the British, you know.
Well, they always say,
the
Martin,
British
I love
lingo.
your accent. I said, I don't have an accent. You guys do.
We sound odd here. Now, if we went to your native land,
Then
we
we'll be all
would
over
sound
you.
strange.
That's
asking for, let's say, an umbrella, where it's not called the umbrella over there in
It's called
in
a
Britain.
brolly, right? A brolly.
It's a brolly.
A
brolly.
And how do you spell brolly? It's
Brolly.
Right.
It's slang we use short with. It's like when I first came here, went to a garage and asked for a wheel brace. And they looked at me and I said, a wheel brace to take your wheels off. They said, oh, you mean a tire iron? I said, no, I don't want to take my tires off. I want to take the nuts off my wheel. So it's the same as a spanner. I asked for a spanner. People look at me. Not many people know what a spanner is, but it's actually a wrench. You call it a wrench. We call it a spanner. It's all different terms. My bonnet stuck.
your bonnet stuck.
Yeah,
bonnet
so my hood.
Do you walk around saying your bonnet stuck there,
My
Kinsman? or
bonnet
what?
stuck. No.
I don't know. Like someone.
Knickers in a bunch. I know that one.
Right. There's lots. There's hundreds.
Knickers in a bunch. That's definitely a British saying.
Knickers in a bunch.
Yes.
Oh, don't get your knickers in a twist.
You're a football fan, and for Kinsman,
That's correct.
That's soccer, right?
Man City fan.
Okay, hang on. Look, Kinsman, I know everything. I'm showing Martin what I brought here today.
Would
You
break?
draw a Man City top.
You know it.
Perfect.
Look
Look at that.
at this. We want him to get.
Our guests walk
you know
away
what?
with something.
We
every
want him
time
to
here on the
sign on
podcast.
again. So look.
How did you know Man City?
Oh, because I love Man City. That's my boy there, Sergio
Whoa.
Aguero.
Cool.
Yeah, they're off to an okay year this year, but
Yeah, you'll get better.
yeah, it will get better. But there we go. See, and it's not soccer. It's not soccer, Kinsman.
No, it's football.
It's football.
And again, we look like a unicorn horn coming out of our foreheads over there saying, let's go watch a soccer game.
That's right.
Football is
Football.
the way to go.
Football, yeah.
So what's up next for your business? Obviously, constantly expanding.
We're always constantly expanding. We're always looking at new avenues. So we don't just stick in one criteria being security. We try, how can I say, we try to evolve around everything. So we do bylaw in Matheson, in Kirkland Lake. That was the first step. We took over the crossing guard contracts. So we supplied that service to the city. We supply the canines. We supply normal security staff. Now the animal control bylaw. So, and we're also training now First Nations, a unit up in Fort Albany, who've created their own security unit. So we've supplied them all their equipment, and we'll be commence training early January.
Oh, very cool. Very
Wow.
cool. So what is the best way for folks to get in touch with you if they can learn a little bit more about your business, if they want to utilize your service?
They can go to my website, www.PADS Canine Protection and Detection Service, Facebook website. They can call me. They're more than welcome to come to the office once all this is over. COVID, call me anytime. Just pick up the phone, give me a call, send me an email.
And you do normal, routine checks of neighborhoods. So let's say one house, wants to do this. You can get a bunch of houses. Do you find it's more of a group effort with neighborhoods to
It's
do
more
neighborhood
of a group
patrol?
effort rather than individual effort. So the response has been low on that part. So
But you do offer that service.
We offer that service, mobile patrols, residential and commercial. So, and it's not just they just drove by. It's actually documented.
You actually get out and check the premises,
That's
the doors,
correct.
make sure they're not ajar,
and it's all documented by GPS that we were at that location at that time. So they can't just say my guard was sleeping down the road there. He was actually out doing his job.
Wow.
If this podcast keeps growing and we get world famous Kinsman, Martin's
Then
going to
we'll
be
do
our personal
body-
security.
Personal protection. That would be another avenue we can
That's
supply.
There we go. We already have them locked in. Keep that paparazzi away,
we
right?
do.
Yeah.
All right.
But quite the resume. I'm blown away not only with the expertise when it comes to canines, because everybody looks at Martin Piel. Out of all the places on the planet, they look for you for the training right here in Timmins, Ontario. One line that jumped out. You worked for at one point for Your Majesty's Armed Forces.
That's correct.
Were you guarding the Queen's knickers? What happens with that one?
I was serving all over. So when I was 16, I joined the British Army. When I applied for the British Army, I wanted to be a transport driver like my brother. But they asked me, well, what did you do at school? So I said I played in the brass band. Well, you're going to be a musician. And that's what I became. I went to the Junior School of Music for 2 years in New York. And from there, I graduated then moved to my regiment, 1 Kings. Then I went to the Royal School of Music in London for 12 months, did my degree. And then I got posted back to the Kings, served with them a few years until I was a naughty boy. Ended up going to the Royal Irish Rangers, served with them, served in various places around the world, and then I became the Royal Army Veterinary Corps. Joined the Royal Army Veterinary Corps. After my service end, I was then in charge of the K9 unit. So we had a civilian paramilitary attachment, which worked under the British Armed Forces. And we did all the security K9 patrols within the garrisons, liaise between civilian police, military police, and that's how my life changed.
Pretty amazing story.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's right.
To say the least.
Yeah,
it's amazing to have you as a person here in the city, but it's nice to have your expertise when it comes to protecting one's assets. And I'm sure a lot of the bad folk out there, they don't have good things to say about the canines, but the canines is one part of crime fighting that is very ideal in today's day and age. Obviously, with a lot of crime, you can just follow any of one of our Facebook pages here in the city. You know what people are up to, but it's nice to know that our assets, housing, businesses are now protected with PADS Canine Protection and Detection Services, with the likes of Martin Piel, who's joining us for episode number 4 here for the Kins and Clump podcast.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Martin.
It's been a pleasure, always a pleasure.
I want to move beside Martin because I feel
You want to move beside
Well, I'm
me?
just thinking crime's
safest
probably a little
house.
light on.
The safest house.
Is crime light in your neighborhood? It's
I
got
can
to
leave
be.
my bike outside.
I
if
actually
I'm next door to
created
Martin.
a sign for my window because it's quite a rough area. And it says now protected, come in at your own risk, and it's got a big picture of my German Shepherd with his teeth open. But I was going to create a sign, this house protected with God and my German Shepherd. So if you enter either one, you're going to meet. But I thought that wouldn't be politically correct to do.
Awesome. So what's the formal way we say goodbye to our guests?
How do we say goodbye? What's a British way of saying goodbye to you? Maybe we can
British way.
A British way.
See you later. Same as
See you
you
later,
guys.
alligator.
See you
Well,
later.
that wasn't as good as the other
See you
ones.
later,
Which
alligator.
one?
Like Brawley.
Yeah, I like
Brawley.
Brawley. See you later. Sounds Canadian.
I could
to
tell
me.
you put wood in so on your way out.
We got to go eat some of these desserts.
That's right. Once
Yeah.
again, thanks to your other half.
That's right.
She's keeping us well fed here in the studios right before Christmas.
If you go down with food poisoning, don't call me.
No, we won't call you. But it's great to have you here in our studios again. Martin Piel from Pad's Canine Protection and Detection Services over there on 3rd. What's the address again, Martin?
193rd Avenue. The old HSBC.
Used to be the Bank of Hong Kong.
That's right. It still is. No, I just don't have no money in there.
Yeah, no money in there. No. But if you give Martin a call and need your assets protected, you're going to help out a local guy here in the city. And of course, if you need training done, now people just can't call you for dog services, or can they?
They can call me for private classes. I teach privately. There's also Rosie and Timmins that teaches. I'm not saying one's better than the other one. One teaches one way, one teaches another way, but the end effect is both there.
You're the entire complete package.
And then there's what's it called? Caesar Milan. Psst, psst. I don't use that.
Pack leader.
I wish I was rich as him and get on TV. I'd be on a fortune.
He's the pack leader guy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Stay safe.
Too.
Don't get drunk, because I will be.
And don't be carrying any weird items at any of the mines, because you just might have that unsuspecting visit from you, Martin Piel.
One never knows.
There we go.
Excellent. Thanks for joining us for episode number 4 here on the Kids and Klomp podcast.
It's a pleasure.